countries. This has never happened in our country before. And the local DAs are part of it, and the attorney generals are all a part of it. You saw what happened in Atlanta with Fani, F-A-N-I, Fani. How do you pronounce F-A-N-I, Fani? They interviewed her. I would never have an affair with anybody in my office. Well, she had an affair. And they paid the guy almost $1 million.
All right, guys, we got to talk about woke Fulton County DA, Miss Fani Pack Willis, or what Trump says, Miss Fani. I'm not sure that's exactly how you pronounce it. Right? How are you supposed to pronounce F-A-N-I, right? Is it Fanny or Fani? Okay, I'm just going to call it Fanny because Fanny is hilarious. Miss Fani Pack Willis, okay, because there is more bad news in regards to the current investigation into her at seemingly all levels of government when it comes to the alleged relationship that she had with special prosecutor Nathan Wade that she hired to go after her political opponent, former President Donald J. Trump. Now, Fani has admitted that she, in fact, did let Nathan throw his hot dog down her hallway, okay? She let Nathan clap her cheeks. They had a sexual relationship, whatever you want to call it, okay? But she claims that the sexual relationship between her and Nathan started after she hired him to be the special prosecutor into the Trump RICO case, not before. However, Mr. Michael Roman, who is a co-defendant in the Trump RICO case, claims that she's lying, that this relationship had started before then, and now his lawyer has come out with some proof and evidence that Mr. Nathan Wade has been lying about when his relationship began with Miss Fani Pack Willis, as Miss Fani Willis tries to motion to dismiss or to squash the subpoenas that she may have to adhere to and testify in regards to her relationship with Nathan Wade.
Mr. Wade has filed other affidavits in his divorce case which contradict this affidavit. His interrogatories, which were sworn and verified and filed in that case, said that he did not have a personal relationship, that there had been none. So we've got two declarations in two different courts, both sworn, both filed with the court, that say something completely different. His May 2023 affidavit, where he was asked if he had, and this was in 2023, Judge. So the state's response last week said they had a relationship that began in 2022. In May of 2023, he filed in the Cobb County Superior Court a pleading that said specifically if he had had any relations with a person other than his spouse during the course of the marriage, and the typical things that are asked in a divorce case, and he responded none. After we filed our motion in this case, he updated those and he pled privilege under the Fifth Amendment. So we've got a filing under oath by Mr. Wade in 2023 stating he didn't have a relationship. Then we've got a filing stating he did have one starting in 2022. And then once that came about, he fixes the incorrect affidavit that was filed back in 2023. So we definitely have a conflict, Judge, in the evidence as far as when this relationship started.
Yeah, so I think somebody's lying, okay? That is what I believe. I believe that both of these two are essentially trying to cover up for each other because they know that there's a conflict of interest. They know that quite possibly this case could be dismissed, or at very least, Miss Fani Willis could be thrown out as the prosecutor for this case. And the judge that is hearing the motion to have the subpoenas dismissed by Fani Willis actually admitted that today, right? He actually admitted that, yeah, Miss Fani Willis could be removed from this case if it is found that, in fact, there is a conflict of interest due to the relationship between Nathan Wade and Fani.
So several of the motions to quash today are arguing that we shouldn't have a evidentiary hearing at all, and that quash is appropriate on those grounds. So to that end, in studying the law that's been filed up to this point, I think it's clear that disqualification can occur if evidence is produced demonstrating an actual conflict or the appearance of one. And the filings submitted on this issue so far have presented a conflict in the evidence that can't be resolved as a matter of law. Specifically looking at defendant Roman's motion, it alleges a personal relationship that resulted in a financial benefit to the district attorney, and that is no longer a matter of complete speculation. The state has admitted a relationship existed, and so what remains to be proven is the existence and extent of any financial benefit, again, if there even was one. So, because I think it's possible that the facts alleged by the defendant could result in disqualification, I think an evidentiary hearing must occur to establish the record on those core allegations. So just to emphasize, I think the issues at point here are whether a relationship existed, whether that relationship was romantic or non-romantic in nature, when it formed, and whether it continues. And that's only relevant because it's in combination with the question of the existence and extent of any personal benefit conveyed as a result of the relationship. With that being said, I don't think that means that everything that has been raised in the defendant's motions, in Mr. Roman's or in the ones adopted by co-counsel, demand an evidentiary hearing. The testimony that would be produced at this hearing is not a deposition. It is still subject to the rules of evidence.
Yeah, so that is devastating news for Miss Fani Willis, okay? And the reason why is because despite what the mainstream liberal media is telling you, this judge is saying, yeah, Miss Fani Willis can be disqualified from this case if the results of this evidentiary hearing suggest that, yeah, she definitely had a conflict of interest in which she financially benefited from her relationship with Nathan Wade, her basically paying him taxpayer dollars to go after Trump and then turn around and using those funds to go on vacation, in which we do have documents that show that Nathan Wade and Fani Willis were taking vacations together. I guess she was getting her cheeks clapped all over the world with Mr. Nathan Wade. So I think that we already got evidence, right, that there's conflict of interest in that she definitely has/is benefiting from this prosecution. Okay, so I personally expect for things to get worse for Miss Fani Willis because the judge ultimately did not squash this hearing from moving forward on Thursday. Okay, so this is going to be a bombshell hearing for Miss Fani Willis. Now, keep in mind, this is not the first time that a judge has acknowledged that Miss Fani Willis may have conflicts of interest. In fact, a few years ago, when there was still investigations into this case, a judge scolded Miss Fani Willis for fundraising for the political opponent of one of the investigation's targets.
Using the title of your office and having on social media that you, as this political office holder, are holding a fundraiser for the opponent of someone that this political office is investigating. I don't know that it's an actual conflict, but I use that phrase, what were you thinking, where the prosecutor thought I could prosecute the co-defendant of someone I defended. It's a what are you thinking moment. The optics are horrific. If you are trying to have the public believe that this is a nonpartisan, driven by the facts, and I'm not here to critique decisions, the decision was made, but if we are trying to maintain confidence that this investigation is pursuing facts in a nonpartisan sense, no matter who the district attorney is, we follow the evidence where it goes and ignore the fact that I hosted a fundraiser for the political opponent of someone I've just named a target. That strikes me as problematic, maybe not from an actual conflict level, but if we are at a cocktail party and people are asking, do you think that this is a fair and balanced approach to things? I do. Well, how do you explain this? How does one explain? I mean, that's the concern I'm working through, is that it's not a lowercase a appearance. It's like a capital A with flashy lights fundraiser, district attorney for the political opponent of someone I've named the target of my investigation, where I'm the legal advisor to the grand jury, and I'm on national media almost nightly talking about this investigation. That's problematic.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, this woman has a history of corruption, and it's just all getting exposed at one time, and I absolutely love it. Now, while this hearing is happening, okay, to expose the further details of her relationship with Mr. Nathan Wade and, you know, whether or not there's conflict of interest there, you also have whistleblowers that are set to testify against the DA in front of Georgia lawmakers when it comes to allegations of corruption within her own office and misuse of taxpayer funds. So again, she's getting a lot of attacks here from all fronts. And let's check in on this situation that I first reported to you guys a few days ago.
We're also learning new information this morning about Fulton County DA Fani Willis and her affair with a member of the team prosecuting former President Donald Trump. Republican lawmakers say several whistleblowers are eager to come forward and testify that Willis misused state and federal funds. Now an emergency hearing is scheduled for this week. News Nation's Elizabeth Pran joins us live from Atlanta. Elizabeth, what do we know about these whistleblowers? Any idea who they are?
Yeah, no, we don't know who they are. We did hear from the lawmakers on Friday, and they told us that they have these whistleblowers. They tell us that they have quite a few of them who are eager. So two things working against the DA, not only the state lawmakers with those alleged whistleblowers, but also lawyers say they have proof that she was lying before this trial or these allegations ever began. So Ashley Merchant is the prosecuting attorney here. She claims that the affair with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade began long before this racketeering case. And she says that's contrary to an official affidavit just about a week ago from Willis. So she writes in part, this is a motion that was filed on Friday. Since Willis and Wade were not forthright about their relationship in the first instance, there is no reason to believe they are telling the truth now. So Merchant represents Michael Roman. He is one of the co-defendants with former President Donald Trump. She says she has a paper trail to prove it. She says she has plane tickets. She has bank statements. She says she has documents that claims Wade has billed Willis at least $728,000 in legal fees so far. The DA's office is obviously trying to dismiss the evidentiary hearing that you mentioned. That's scheduled for this Thursday. But pressure is growing on her by the day. We are hearing from State Senator Bill Cowsert. He is spearheading that. Claims that he has multiple employees who are eager to take the stand. He met with reporters on Friday saying, you lose the confidence of the public in the fairness of our criminal justice system if they think prosecutors are engaging in prosecution so their lovers can get rich and they can share the benefits of that. He went on to say this is not a witch hunt, but Marquis, investigation is falling up and down party lines in the state Senate here. State Congress, rather. And I will say that this panel does not have the power to remove the DA, but they do have the power of the purse because obviously the district attorney's office is funded by the state. So there is quite a lot at risk here. I mentioned that evidentiary hearing is scheduled for this Thursday.
Yeah, this is the story that keeps growing new legs every week. Elizabeth Pran, thanks so much. Thanks for watching.
Well, I mean, if Fani Willis kept her legs closed, right, then this wouldn't be happening. But because she couldn't keep her legs closed, and she wanted to spread them cheeks for Nathan's hot dog, this is the result, right? So again, what you have here is a lot of attacks on Miss Fani Willis, okay? You also still have the federal investigation. Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee, has subpoenaed Miss Fani Willis to testify about the misuse of federal taxpayer dollars. You have this hearing going on here with Georgia lawmakers, state lawmakers, about the misuse of taxpayer dollars in her office. And then you also have these hearings that are going on when it comes to her relationship with Mr. Nathan Wade and whether or not there's a conflict of interest, whether or not she financially benefited. You got to imagine that at least on one of these, she's going to get popped, right? You got to imagine. Again, this could have happened to a much better person, right? This person who literally is trying to, go after her political opponents for clout, okay? She's trying to gain more clout within the Democrat Party to move up the ranks because that's what's happening in 2024. You have a bunch of these woke secretaries of state or prosecutors going after Trump, trying to remove him from ballots and stuff like that to increase their profile within the Democrat Party. You just had the Supreme Court slap down Colorado's attempt to do so, which means that other attempts to do so probably won't be successful. Or put it this way, a lot of people think that the Supreme Court is going to slap down that attempt. It seems like that's what's going to happen. Fani Willis here, it seems to me that there's a chance, right, that she could be removed from the case. And I personally think it should go further than that. I think that she should be criminally charged. I think that she should be thrown in prison. And I'm not going to be happy until that is the result of these investigations. Okay, I'm sick and tired of Republicans investigating and nothing happening, right? I want Democrats to actually suffer the consequences of their actions and their corruption for once. If they can't get Fani Willis, again, throw the whole party away, right? I have to remind people every time I make this video that that's where I'm at, right? If you can't get this woman, I mean, she's the most obvious, right? She's engaged in obvious corruption, blatant in your face. If you can't get her, the whole party's useless, right? There's no point in the Republican Party if they can't take down Fani Willis, okay? Because we do know that if the roles were reversed here, Democrats definitely would take down a Republican DA who got caught red-handed in what clearly is a conflict of interest while trying to go after a political opponent. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.